What's going on, YouTube, and welcome into episode 9 of the LakeShow Flow. I'm Gio with my co-host Joe.
What's up, y'all?
So last night, the Lakers, it looks like deja vu out there as we go into overtime again, and we barely escape against the Thunder, 114 to 113. And key performers in that one for the Thunder. We had the hero from last game, Basley. We don't even... I've heard it both. I've heard it both ways. I've heard it as a spice, but this guy he only scored 9 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Kenrich Williams was looking like Darren Williams. He had 24 points, 2 assists, and 6 rebounds. Al Horford looking like prime Al Horford, 25 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Lou Dort, 17 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and Diallo with 15 points, 5 assists, and 13 rebounds.
All right, and for the Lakers, we had LeBron James with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. We had Kyle Kuzma with 15 points and 9 rebounds. We had Schroeder with 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. And then we had Marc Gasol with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. And then KCP with 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. And off the bench, we had Harold with 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Wesley Matthews, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Morris, 9 points and 6 rebounds. And that's pretty much it. But this game, to start this off, was just... The first quarter was insane. Like, they hit everything. So that first quarter, they hit 54% of their field goals.
Yeah.
Right? And I think they're like the third worst field goal percentage shooting team in the league. So...
Yeah, they were looking like a playoff team.
I don't know. I don't know why every time we play a team, though, it's like their worst possible stat, they do good against us. Like, you could be the worst three-point shooter team, and then they're going to just go off for threes for some odd reason. But, I mean, the good thing about this game, though, they started Kuz, which we wanted to see last time. So, basically, with Kuz, he adds energy in there, So, that first quarter, Kuz had 2 points and a rebound. And, basically, LeBron started off slow. He just had a basket and a free throw. But we've talked about this. I think he's trying to get into the flow and let everyone else get into the flow of games.
Yeah, especially with no AD, no Caruso again. We're going to need... we needed some people to get in rhythm because with just LeBron having to carry... I mean, he already had to play 2 overtimes in a row before... Or 3 overtimes in a row before this because of the double overtime. So, I think he was trying to get people going again. But the Thunder, they had like a 13-4 run in that quarter. The paint protection still non-existent. We had our boy Kenrich Williams, Darren Williams.
That's Darren Williams' son right there. I've actually confirmed. I reported that one. That's his son that he doesn't know about.
This man with his mullet, man.
My God, he's got the ugliest hair in the league.
He was balling. I don't know. I mean, the mullet
was pretty much the story of that quarter, dude.
Yeah.
Like he had 4 baskets and a 3. So,
yeah, and then just overall, they had 18 points in the paint in that one quarter, and we had 23 points in the quarter overall.
They almost outscored us with just their paint points, which is crazy. But, I mean, once again, the paint, it's open season for the Lakers. I mean, we opening the door. It's like we inviting people in at this point. Just like, hey, here, come in. It's nice. It's
really
I mean,
nice especially here. With Marc Gasol, I was listening last night to Dan the Lakers fan again. He said that these guys are just using Gasol as like a trampoline.
Pretty much, dude.
To get off his body and get a layup.
Marc Gasol, I feel like when people jump into him, he almost has his hands on their body instead of trying to... It's almost like he's
boosting.
He's trying to protect himself from getting hurt, but he's elevating them, and they're just going over the top of him, which is crazy because he's 7 feet tall. But, yeah, he's not even putting his hand up, So, I mean, he does have his moments. I will say he's gotten better.
Yeah, he had some moments.
There's moments, and I like that, but
it's still clear like we need another.
We need a big man, because I mean, Diallo got a basket. Dort had 3 baskets. Jackson had 3. Basley had a 3 in a basket, and then this guy named Miller, I don't know who he was, dude, had a 3. Like even he got.
Yeah, we were waiting to see who it was. We're like, who is that? Because I don't even think he played the last game, but he got some against us. Everyone got some of that in this game, but
basically, man. And then you had Wesley come in and Morris, just like we talked about in the last game. I kind of knew it, dude. They had decent games the last game, and I knew
Wesley did. Morris, I don't know. I think he's just getting that respect of like.
I don't know what's happening. I think Morris is like punking Vogel in the locker room, like one of those like intimidation things. Like you better play me, on my brother. the twin, you're not gonna know which one it is. We're gonna come and we're gonna get you. You're not gonna know.
He's. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'd rather see Kuz out there for the most part, but he got his minutes again. And I mean, we end up trailing the quarter 37-23. And to open the second quarter, we had this is when Al Horford started looking like he was in his prime, man. Like Joe was saying, he was turning back the clock, and he
Turning
did.
back the clock, dude.
He really did. And LeBron, I mean, he was. I wrote this because it's concerning. Like right away in this game, he's already playing like the most minutes on the team, and it's like he can't even catch a break because we're already down early. So
yeah, the note I have for LeBron, I put needs more, which basically he just needs more help from people. You know, like this quarter though. I mean, there was a lot of things happen. A lot of people scored. Like you had Dennis get to the free throw line like a few times. You know, but with Dennis, he just needs to attack more on like teams like this. Like I think he's so fast that he needs to be able to attack, and that's where we need to like maybe ISO and like clear out the paint and let him attack more because he's a good finisher and he's getting better and better at getting on fouls and calls. I think so.
He just needs to
keep it. He just needs to keep attacking.
Yeah, but I mean to start the quarter, we go through these spurts where we're just ISOing. Like our offense is just an ISO, and we're not like moving. There's no movement. There's no sharing the ball because they brought up the stats. They already had like double-digit assists. We only had like 4 or 5, and it's like why aren't like we have passers on our team that can get Marc Gasol could even pass. Like our whole starting lineup could probably get the ball to.
Well, what I don't like either, we talked about this too in some of the possessions, is they throw it into like Trez late in the shot clock.
Yeah,
and kind of make him have to make a decision. I don't like that type of offense. Like Trez, if you don't throw it in early and let us see if he could do something, go ahead. But don't throw it in when there's 10 seconds left.
Yeah, then he has to take a step back mid range or just throw a bad pass. And
because that's just putting him in a hard position. And as good as Trez has been, it's just not his game. Like you can't rely on that. So someone else has got to like step up. And then the offense, like you said, a few games ago, it looked like the movement was like really, really good. Like the movement was finally happening and people were getting involved. And then now, like this game, like I said, it was with the assists, we're just stale. Like it's a lot of ISO stuff. So
yeah, we closed the quarter okay. Marc Gasol hit a 3. Wesley hit his first 3 in that quarter, but so that was nice. But I mean, we ended up going on an 8-0 run, and then Diallo by himself had a 4-point run, which was because we could have cut the lead down to 6 going into halftime, but he had his little 4-point run, scoring on Marc Gasol at the buzzer, and it was
he elevated high too. I mean, in Mark's defense, he did go up. You know?
We said, he has his moments where he does go up, but most of the time he just backing up with his hands barely up, and then like they just elevate over him. So we end up going into the third quarter down 67-57. And we started kind of turning the game around in this quarter. There's still concerns with paint protection, as there always is. We started keeping their percentage down, though, forcing them to take bad shots.
The Horford, defense definitely picked up.
Yeah, Horford, though, he was still doing his thing. Marc Gasol, I mean, he was being a little more offensive in this game. Like
Gasol in that quarter had 2 baskets and then a free throw hit and 1. So I mean, Gasol turned the clock back for 2 plays.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It was nice to see, but I mean. Horford, they're just in 2 different stages of their career. Like Horford is still serviceable.
He's like what we wanted, what we thought we'd get in Mark. Is like he can still turn back the clock when we need it, And I mean, there was a couple times where I was like, man, I'd rather have Horford, but
yeah, but we talked about that too, though. If we're gonna get a center, we don't need a scoring center. We already have scoring. We need defense. We need paint protection. So Horford, ideally, I mean, if we were to get Horford, I wouldn't be mad, but it's not going to happen. That's just hypotheticals right now.
Yeah.
But I don't want a scoring center. We don't need more scoring.
Yeah.
We need someone that's going to lock down the paint, and we could depend like Drummond. Would be a perfect fit. But someone like that
athletic defensive big man, for sure. But then we still have Kendrick Williams doing his thing in this quarter. It was pretty much
we changed his name at this point.
Yeah, and I literally we both were talking about it. It's like I just wrote down Darren Williams.
Darren Williams, dude. If y'all are like not familiar with Darren Williams, he was good. So that's why we saying that. But Darren Williams pretty much man, he kept getting into the paint, and that quarter, I mean, it was just like no one really stood out. I mean, Trez started getting cooking, which I liked the third quarter because we started we had Trez in way more than I thought we were going to have him in. You know, but THT basically got no minutes. Like,
and we talked about this with Wesley Matthews. Like, he had his reemergence the last 2 games, and it's like I'm cool with if he's getting more minutes because of this. If he's going to go back to the old Wesley that we thought we were getting. But I don't think you necessarily have to punish THT for it, because if you're still giving minutes to KCP, who hasn't been anything lately, and also Markieff Morris.
Yeah, Morris should be the odd man out, not THT.
Yeah, because I'd still play KCP, just benefit of the doubt, give him still solid minutes. But Markieff, I mean, he's at like DMP status at this point. Like, I'd rather just sit him for a while, because it's one thing with Wesley, at least he came back from those 4 games they didn't play, both of them, and he came out with energy, and he's playing like, I want to earn minutes again. Yeah. But Markieff hasn't shown me nothing. Like, he had like a 3-point play, I think, at one point, but I was like, okay, that's his one highlight of the game. Or I think he made a 3 too, but it's still not enough. But yeah, I mean, overall in the third, good energy. We closed it out, only trailing by 4, so 84-80. But yeah, so I mean, in the fourth quarter, Kuz came back in, and I was like, we could use Kuz's energy this quarter. So I was hoping that he got his play, because when we don't have Kuz in there, like we just talked about Markieff, we're not getting the rebound hustle. Yeah. We're not getting, Kuz can dump. He even has good assists, like sometimes. Like
he's got way better at passing, and he gets good rebounds, and his defense, like I said, is getting way, way better. Like, his defense is like really improving, And then LeBron, I mean, pretty much had 2 threes late that were big, like big threes, And in that quarter, we take the lead for the first time in the entire game with like 4 minutes left, which is crazy. We did not lead at all, not even in the beginning. That was the first lead we had. So,
and that's just insane too. It's like, I don't know if we're like a team that we know we're good enough to come back like this, but we can't depend on these runs against good teams. Like, especially in the playoffs, like we can't carry these habits in of like, okay, we're just gonna coast a little bit. We know we can come back. We're good enough, because teams aren't gonna let us do this. Like, good teams.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game we're playing right now. Because, like you said, I think when you have LeBron James, you almost have this comfort level of like, we're always gonna be okay. But at some point, you gotta just look yourself in the mirror and be like, I can't just depend on that, because, like I said, these last 3 games have been playing minutes in the 40s. Like, he can't keep having these overtime wins, because we want to coast and give these teams hope, or even like have hard fought comebacks, because it's just too much stress on his body. So these, like I said, it's not like our team's bad. It's just it's the paint points, dude. They scored, I think, like 60 points in the paint that night, which are insane, dude. Like, we scored, I believe they were like 68 or 60 or something like that, and we scored almost 62. But we're supposed to score 60. We're not supposed to have someone score 60 on us in the paint. Yeah, like, that's insane to think about someone scoring 60 points.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we were missing AD in this game, but it's like, it still happens when he's there. You know what I mean? Like, we still so
the point, the paint protection, it's got to be, and not only that, it starts on the perimeter too, though, because obviously they're getting past their perimeter defenders. So we need to tell our perimeter defenders, like KCP, Dennis, LeBron, AD, all these guys are on the perimeter. You've got to hold your man better, because they're getting past you and getting into the paint. We got to accept that.
You just got to do better coming off of screens too, because I feel like,
dude, I wrote that in the game.
We get lost.
I feel like we don't fight through screens. Yeah. Or we don't get the proper switch. So.
And I mean, when you talk about like how there's a level of comfort with LeBron, it's one thing to be comfortable with like a young LeBron. Yeah. But we're literally getting comfortable and depending on LeBron to bring us back at 36 years old. Yeah. And it's like, we got to really understand, like, this guy's not in a position to be relied on like this, and he's still great. He still made some plays down the stretch. Like you said, he hits this clutch 3 to tie it.
Yeah, really big 3.
Basically send it to overtime. And then his defense in overtime was big, and Schroeder was big in overtime too, which was good to see. So,
well, the thing with that fourth quarter too, though, before we move on, Trez played the whole fourth quarter. Yeah. So Mark didn't play, which we've been wanting to see, but it goes back to our big man situation, because Horford had 4 baskets and 2 free throws in that quarter. Horford was just too big for Trez on the defensive end. So that's where it's like, we want to see Trez play more and close out these games, but it's kind of hard to do that when he's so short. Like,
yeah, that's what, like, I feel like naturally, if we could have him in there with another big man, like an actual center, like a true center, because I feel like he'll excel against like power forwards. I think that's what we need to do, is use him more as like a forward, because his size is so lacking. I think he's barely like the same height as LeBron. Yeah. And so it's like, we can't really depend on him to have to stop a guy like Al Horford, who's turning back the clock, who's got size, he's lanky too, he's got long arms. So, it's a lot to put on Trez, especially when we depend on him so much offensively.
Yeah.
So, but I do love Trez though. I mean, he brings that energy of like a KG, Dennis Rodman. Like he just a hustle guy. Like he offensively too, his aggression.
Every team needs that, but usually those guys, I mean, KG
was another level,
Hall of Famer, a whole nother level, and he was a power forward.
Yeah, he was bigger too.
He was bigger than Harold, and then Rodman. I think he was around the same size, but he also played power forward. So it'd be different if we played power forward, but we don't run him a power forward.
Yeah, that's why we need, for his sake and for AD's sake, we need another big man, because they do their best work when they're not having to do so much on defense. Like they can make their plays every now and then, like AD, where he'll get a blocks. He's a good defensive player, but when he has to do everything on defense, or he doesn't have another guy, then he's
or in the closing closeout games, run AD at the center. Just tell AD like, hey, look, I know you don't want to play center, but you're gonna have to play center sometimes.
And I think because like last year in the playoffs, he had to do it too sometimes. Like we just made him be our main big man, but yeah, so like going into overtime, like we said, Schroeder was doing some work, which was good to see, because LeBron didn't have to. We actually had a stretch too in the game where we both said like it's cool that our team was doing stuff like in the fourth and in overtime, without LeBron having to do everything, because we just talked about it. Like he's getting too old to have to, especially in the regular season. We're not even halfway through the year. Like we're gonna need these role players like Schroeder. I think I told you last video, like maybe the video before, but I feel like Schroeder's still adjusting to being a starter. Yeah, like. It's easy. I'm not easy, but I think it was easier for him to come off the bench and just be explosive. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, we pretty much close out this game, and Wesley Matthews, he big time 3-pointer, and we close out the game. He basically gives us the lead, but they still had a chance.
Well, I think we talked about this too, though, that last shot, because I've heard many people talk about this if LeBron's afraid to go to the line. But that potential game winner shot, he made it harder than it needed to be. Like he had Williams, I think, on him, or someone. I think he had Williams. He had a small guy on him, right? And
you're saying before we got the other possession?
Yeah, where we talked about where LeBron did that crazy turnaround almost at the 3-point line, instead of just trying to turn around in the post, or just turning around, spin move, and trying to dunk it. Yeah,
he had just airballed that same shot. Like
so I think that's where LeBron needs to not be afraid. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I've just heard this through media. If he might be afraid of the free throw line, or he doesn't want to go there. But I'd rather him attack and make them foul him and go to the free throw line than him take that crazy shot. Yeah,
because he had time, like we were looking at the play, where he could have just drove before Horford got the extra wall. Yeah. He could have spun off of, was it Dort? Or was it someone else?
I think it was Williams on him.
Yeah, either way, both those guys
they're both small.
Yeah, they're not as big as LeBron, so he could have. We saw like the last game, he spun off a Dort really easy and got a dunk, like I think in the fourth. But
yeah, and the crazy thing is too, I was looking at this earlier too. When it comes to like stats, right? Overall stats, the Thunder pretty much beat us in every statistical category, basically, other than I think it was. Let me see. I think the one thing that we did win.
We won free throws and 3-pointers for this.
Yeah, free throws and 3-pointers, right? But everything else, like, we won blocks by like 2. But they won steals, they won turnovers, they won points in the paint, they won assists, and field goal percentage, they're basically dead on with us, So, when you have a team like that's not even talented and they win all those categories, because the field goal percentage is whatever, but the assists, the points in the paint, the steals and all that, those are all hustle things. Yeah. So that just shows me that we're not hustling. We've talked about it, but the numbers are just saying it too. So not only is in the eye test we've seen it, but in the numbers it's showing that we're not hustling to things we need to do. And turnovers, once again, 16 turnovers. They beat us in turnovers. So that's another thing too. We need to stop being so sloppy with the ball. I feel like there's moments where we get so lackluster and we're just like, we're in cruise mode because we're going to beat them either way. And we kind of start doing stupid things. So we just need to fix that up.
And I think part of it too, it might come down to like the lack of practices and stuff. But I mean, when you have this amount of talent, it's almost like you can't get spoiled with it and just expect to be able to come back all the time. And then there was also where they brought up that we are still the top defensive team, but not when it comes to the paint. Like overall, but the paint is just, that's our main glaring thing. Every time we record a podcast, we're always talking about it. We need a big man. We need a big man. I mean, I'm gonna keep my patience with it. Rob Pelinka is a GOAT GM. Like, I really do trust him to make a move. I don't think we'll have to trade anyone, but I think he'll bring someone in with the buyout market. He might even bring in 2 guys. Who knows?
We'll see.
But we'll see what happens. That's pretty much, if it sounded the same as last videos, because it basically was. We went into overtime against the Thunder. Same habits.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're listening to these videos, you can understand too, though. Sometimes it's not going to change as much, you know. I mean, we kind of just break down the games, you know. But like I said, these last 3 games have been the same. Yeah, we haven't been great. We've been going to overtime.
And then it's just crazy that the same team takes us over. And we didn't even mention this. They didn't have Shea.
They didn't even have Shea.
That was a big thing. Like, I thought, okay, we'll have an advantage. But then Williams just looks like a monster.
He was Shea.
He actually got a card in 2K just for this performance, a moments card. So that's when you know you're doing big things. Yeah. But all right, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at LakeShow Flow, and we'll see you on episode 10.
Be safe, Laker Nation.